ranging from comics to live-action films and series. Sabertooth has a widespread presence across the entire Marvel Universe. Created by Chris Claremont and John Byrne, Sabertooth made his debut appearance in the 14th issue of Iron Fist Comics all the way back in 1977. He is most popularly known for his Prime Earth version, also known as Victor Creed, but he has many different variants. Some of these variants include Silver Sabertooth, Aaron Davis, Snaggletooth, and even Cannibal Sabertooth. Today, we shall explore every last variant of this terrifying mutant and tell you all about them. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. 1. Victor Creed, Earth 616. On Earth 616, Victor Creed's mutation manifested in the form of sharp claws and fangs, heightened senses, and an accelerated healing factor. When he first gained his mutant ability, Victor killed his brother over a piece of pie in a fit of rage. Victor's father locked him in a cellar to punish him and tried to pull out his teeth to free him from his demons. Eventually, Victor Creed freed himself from the cellar and murdered his father before setting off into the world. He soon went on a rampage, and a few years later, he learned that Logan had killed his brother, Saul. Victor then set out to find Logan, also known as Wolverine, and the two faced each other on several occasions. Over the course of his story arc, Victor started referring to himself as Sabretooth. He was recruited by Nick Fury to join the Avengers before finally joining Team X. He was a part of the Weapon X program, where his bones were laced with adamantium to make him a fierce and invulnerable warrior. 2. Sabertooth X-Men Cinematic Universe. In the X-Men Cinematic Universe, Victor Creed is introduced as the son of Thomas Logan and the half-brother of James Howlett. Victor and James spent a significant portion of their lives together as Canadian mercenaries and fought in various wars, including the American Civil War, World Wars I and II, and the Vietnam War. These events were depicted in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where Sabertooth's character was portrayed by Liev Schreiber, and his younger self was played by Michael James Olsen. This version of Sabertooth was introduced as Wolverine's half-brother, and they both worked together in Team X, ultimately defeating Weapon XI in the course of the film. Sabertooth later left Team X to join Magneto's Brotherhood of Mutants, a storyline explored in the 2000 X-Men movie, where Tyler Mane played the character.
Sorry, Prof. Gotta go with the lady on this one.
3. Animated versions of Sabertooth. Sabertooth had a significant presence across the animated X-Men universe. He first appeared in X-Men, the animated series, where Don Franks voiced him. This iteration of Sabertooth was from Earth 92131 and went by the name Graydon Creed Sr. Graydon was a recurring antagonist in the show, occasionally forming reluctant alliances with Wolverine and the X-Men. Another version of Sabertooth from Earth 92131 appeared in X-Men Evolution, voiced by Michael Donovan. This version, also known as Victor Creed, was a member of Magneto's acolytes until Magneto's death, after which he set out to explore the world. Sabertooth also featured in Wolverine and the X-Men, with Peter Lorre providing the voice. This version initially worked for Weapon X and partnered with Wolverine, but had a falling out when Wolverine refused to harm an innocent individual. In the Superhero Squad show, Sabertooth was part of Dr. Doom's Lethal Legion and was voiced by Charlie Adler. He also made notable appearances in the animated Hulk vs. Wolverine films, voiced by Mark Atchison. This version hailed from Earth 8096 and was a member of Team X. 4. Silver Sabertooth. Originating from Earth 295, Silver Sabertooth, also known as Victor Creed, was one of the first mutants to join Apocalypse in North America. He was affiliated with the Horsemen of Apocalypse and participated in several missions alongside them. Like other iterations, Silver Sabertooth had a history with the X-Men and the Weapon X program, and he also collaborated with the Exiles. What set Silver Sabertooth apart was his loss of powers due to the combined efforts of the X-Terminated, Human Resistance, and the X-Men. Subsequently, he was placed under house arrest for his past actions as a hound for Apocalypse and eventually sacrificed himself, consumed by the exterminators. 5. Ultimate Sabertooth. Hailing from Earth 1610, this version of Sabertooth was a cruel and harsh mutant who believed that humans were more cruel than less evolved animals. He appeared in Ultimate Spider-Man and Wolverine comics, and although not much is known about his childhood or origins, this variant had a history of harming animals as a child before progressing to torturing humans. Initially forced to work for Weapon X, he eventually developed a liking for the organization's cruel methods and took pleasure in serving them. 6. Weapon S. Weapon S, created by Mike Carey and Clay Mann, is a variant of Sabertooth and Earth 11326. Weapon S was captured by humans who looked down on mutants, and he was paraded around the streets to instill fear among other humans. villains. Sabertooth's physical appearance made it easy for these humans to portray him as dangerous, and he was even tortured and mutilated. Eventually, the Avengers used him to find Fortress X, and Weapon S himself volunteered for this mission in exchange for his freedom. After this mission, General Castle declared Code Omega, essentially granting heroes a free pass to use brutal force on mutants. In this reality, the Hulk was a mutant hater, and he shocked Weapon S with an electric collar before smashing his face with his bare hands. 7. Old Man Logan Sabertooth. In the Old Man Logan comics created by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, the real Sabertooth had disappeared from the scene for several years before Logan traced his scent again. He found Sabertooth attacking a settlement to get some food, and Logan soon realized that he had turned into a mindless savage. Logan felt no remorse for killing Sabertooth, and he went as far as chopping his body into several pieces and burying them in different spots. While Logan hoped that this would ensure that Sabertooth could not regenerate, he did return to life in a cybernetically enhanced form with some help from Weapon X. His body bore scars from the time Logan had decapitated him, but he had numerous clones after returning to life. When all these clones started hunting Logan alongside Sabertooth's original self, Logan managed to overpower him and kill him again. 8. Sabertooth Nightcrawler Chimera. In an alternate reality, a Chimera created with Sabertooth and Nightcrawler's DNA appeared in the Nightcrawler comics written by Cy Spurrier and Paco Medina. This Chimera went on to join the Legion of the Night, and they once went on a mission to ambush Vox Ignis at the Sanctum Sanctorum. During this mission, Vox unleashed his Scream of Change, which undid most of the Legion's conditioning. Some of the Legion's members reverted to their usual forms and killed the remaining members who were still faithful to Sinister's cause. In this way, Auntie Fortune ended up killing this variant of Sabertooth by the end of this story arc. 9. Savage Sabertooth. Hailing from Earth 1912, Savage Sabertooth was a female variant of Sabertooth who resided in the Savage Land. While hunting, Savage Sabertooth was sadly kidnapped by Graydon Creed, who transported her to Earth 616. Graydon intended to collect and kill every single version of Sabertooth in the multiverse, and he held them all captive on Earth 616. He went as far as to implant them with Barrington coils, but Savage Sabertooth and a few other variants worked together to get rid of them and defeat Graydon. In an unfortunate series of events, Graydon managed to escape and later returned to attack them with headless corpses of several Sabertooth variants that he had already managed to kill. Eventually, the Sabertooth from Earth 616 showed up to their rescue, got rid of Graydon, and asked his variants to stay with him. Savage Sabertooth accepted this offer and then went on several adventures with her other variants on Earth 616. 10. Zombie Sabertooth. Zombie Sabertooth was characterized by yellow irises, decaying flesh, and animal-like teeth, making him a zombified mutant. While we don't know much about the history of this variant, Sabertooth turned into a zombie after the zombie plague spread across Earth 2149. In an unfortunate turn of events, Sabertooth was infected along with other supervillains who had cornered Galactus. When Galactus was defeated by the Power Cosmic Zombies, Sabertooth was one of the many zombies who tried to exert their claims on his body. However, Sabertooth was no match for the mighty Power Cosmic Zombie, who soon defeated and killed him. 11. Poison Sabertooth. Created by Cullen Bunn and Iban Coelho, Poison Sabertooth appeared in the Venomverse comics in 2017. He was essentially created when Poison assimilated his body with the Sabertooth of Earth 19174. Poison Sabertooth then went on a reconnaissance mission with Poison Gwenpool, but they fell into the Resistance trap. Soon after, Logan Venom killed him, putting an end to this variant's story arc. 12. Aaron Davis. First appearing in What If, Miles Morales number 2. Aaron Davis was a Sabertooth variant created by John Ridley and Fareed Karami. Aaron lived in Atlanta, where he received a prison sentence after his brother Jefferson refused to help him. Jefferson was an agent for S.H.I.E.L.D., and Director Colcord initially asked him to kill his son Miles. While Jefferson refused to do this, Colcord approached Aaron in prison and asked him to work for him. Aaron readily agreed, and soon mutated into Sabertooth, after which he was sent on a mission to kill Miles. However, Jefferson showed up at the scene to protect Miles and ended up killing Aaron. Eventually, Aaron joined an alliance of alternate versions of himself and traveled to the mainstream universe, where all his versions were defeated by alternate versions of Miles Morales. 13. Snaggletooth. First appearing in the X-Babies Murderama comics in 1998, Snaggletooth was created by Mojo in the Mojoverse. Mojo used Neoplasm to construct the X-Baby, and it is suggested that Snaggletooth was also created in a similar manner. This variant of Sabertooth joined the Brotherhood of Mutant Bullies, also known as BOMB. As a part of the Brotherhood, Snaggletooth was pitted against the X-Babies by Magneto. 14. Warwolf Sabertooth. Warwolf Sabertooth was a variant hailing from Mojoverse, the extra-dimensional realm ruled by Mojo, created by Dan Slott and Mark Buckingham. This variant of Sabertooth only appeared in a special issue of Wolverine comics in 1996. For the most part, Warwolf Sabertooth disguised himself as the original Sabertooth and shared the same powers and abilities. He was part of a team of disguised werewolves who attacked Wolverine to boost Mojo 2's television rating. While he put up a good fight against Wolverine, Warwolf Sabertooth was eventually defeated after the X-Bait, Longshot, and Dazzler came to Wolverine's rescue. 15. House of M Sabertooth. Hailing from Earth 58163, this variant of Sabertooth worked for Magneto as an assassin during the Mutant-Human War. He operated quite stealthily, and not many humans or mutants knew he existed, even after he killed Robert Kelly, the man who headed the Council of Mutant Affairs. At the end of the war, Sabertooth relocated to Alberta and started killing humans mercilessly, prompting S.H.I.E.L.D. to intervene and bring him under control. After spending some time in prison, Sabertooth once again found himself working for Magneto and even killed his own son. He was later sent to Wakanda to assassinate the Black Panther, but he could not overpower him, and T'Challa slew him and sent his head back to Magneto. 16. Victor Creed Prime. Hailing from Earth 61610, Sabertooth's history was quite similar to that of his counterpart on Earth 616. The only difference was that this variant had given in to an incursion that led him to be reborn on God Emperor Doom's Battleworld. This Battleworld was located in a locality similar to the Kingdom of Manhattan on Earth 616, and the blending of these locations caused several heroes to engage in a conflict. While Sabertooth assisted heroes from his universe in the fight against heroes from a world similar to the Ultimate Universe, Miles Morales showed up and revealed the truth. Both superhero teams came together to confront Doom, but this ultimately led to their erasure from existence. This variant of Sabertooth had the same powers and abilities as Victor Creed in mainstream continuity, but sadly died quite early. 17. Agent Creed. Formerly working in the Central Intelligence Agency on Earth 7642, Agent Creed had a history with Team X and the Weapon X program. This variant of Sabertooth worked for Team X around the 1970s, where he was sent on a mission to destroy the Numidian Army's Super Soldier program. Agent Creed broke into their facility along with David North and Logan, but they were cornered by the Numidian Army's mercenaries, including Omega Red and Mademoiselle Duplessis. They tried to evade them and eventually teamed up with Team 7 to defeat the Numidian Army and destroy their facility. 18. Mutant X Sabertooth. Hailing from Earth 1298, this variant of Sabertooth was part of the Weapon X program that occurred during the USA-Canada conflicts. Sabertooth was selected as a member of an elite Canadian troop and was administered the Super Soldier Serum. However, the scientists responsible for the project couldn't control Sabertooth, and he escaped the facility along with some of his peers. While they faced difficulties evading the police, they eventually formed a team known as the Pack in the depths of the Canadian wilderness. They were ultimately defeated by the 6 and Alpha Flight, and Sabertooth ended up in the custody of the Canadian government. He was then sent on a mission to capture Wolverine, but Logan defeated and decapitated him with his claws. 19. Patriotic Sabertooth. Hailing from Earth 203, this variant of Sabertooth was a patriotic superhero who fought for the underprivileged and eventually even served the government. He once dealt with the Summers extremists and was later kidnapped by Graydon Creed and taken to Earth 616, along with other variants such as Savage Sabertooth and Bad Boy Sabertooth. After defeating Graydon, Patriotic Sabertooth chose to stay on Earth 616 alongside the original Sabertooth. 20. Bad Boy Sabertooth. Just like Patriotic Sabertooth and Savage Sabertooth, Bad Boy Sabertooth was kidnapped by Graydon and taken to Earth 616. Back on Earth 12, Sabertooth had the reputation of a bad boy celebrity, and Graydon actually kidnapped him at a fun party. 21. Frightful Sabertooth. Frightful Sabertooth was a part of Dr. Doom's Frightful 4 and was created by Jeff Parker and David Williams. He originated on Earth 808122 as Victor Creed and later mutated into Frightful Sabertooth by Mephisto. While they were initially cordial, Mephisto eventually betrayed the Frightful 4 team and killed them all. 22. Tooth Fairy. Created by Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning, and Frank Turan, this variant of Sabertooth was nicknamed Tooth Fairy by Jubilee. His history on Earth 9670 differed from that of his original counterpart after he escaped from the X-Men's custody. He was compelled to stay at the X-Mansion for treatment, but he ran away and even killed Bishop when he tried to recapture. Eventually, Sabertooth returned to the mansion to look for Jubilee and killed Hank McCoy in the process. He finally found her in the mansion's danger room, but Jubilee managed to weaken and kill him before he could reach her. 23. Sabertooth, Howlett. Created by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, this version of Sabertooth appeared in Spider-Man newspaper strips in 2010. He was also referred to as Howlett, suggesting a connection to James Howlett, even in this reality on Earth 77013. This variant was quite similar to the original Sabertooth in terms of powers and abilities. He briefly appeared in the story while fighting Wolverine. Eventually, Spider-Man dealt with Sabertooth by telling him that he won and Wolverine lost, while telling the complete opposite to Wolverine in an attempt to subdue the two. 24. Sabertooth from Paradise X. Hailing from Earth 9997, Sabertooth from Paradise X descended from the Bear Clan, a tribe of humans whose history was unaffected by the Celestials. This variant was unaware of his origins and grew up believing he was a mutant. He later came into conflict with Wolverine, who had descended from the rival Moon Clan, and the two of them became foes even in this reality. 25. Victor Creed, Project Doppelganger LMD. Under Project Doppelganger, S.H.I.E.L.D. created several LMDs or life model decoys, modeled after certain characters. These decoys' skins were made from a rare metal known as epidurium, which could take the form of a person and essentially create a duplicate version. Victor Creed was one such character with an LMD, which was activated by Chameleon. Later, these LMDs rebelled against Chameleon to free Master Matrix, and it is assumed that this variant later merged with the Matrix and was destroyed by Galactus' LMD. 26. Max Universe Sabertooth. Created by Jason Starr and Roland Boshi, this variant of Sabertooth appeared in Wolverine Max comics set in the Max universe. While we know very little about his origins, he was born around the 1860s and first crossed paths with Logan in Japan. Sabertooth had heard a lot about Logan's powers and even believed that they could possibly be soulmates. After crossing paths, Sabertooth assumed that Logan also enjoyed killing as much as him, and he recruited Logan to work with him as a samurai. However, Logan soon abandoned Sabertooth, who continued to work for the Shogunate and even the Yakuza at a later date. Logan faced Sabertooth again while looking for a sword, and he later helped the police find Sabertooth and put him in a security facility. 27. Creed, Earth 51212. First appearing in Extreme X-Men comics, Creed lived in Graymalkin, Arizona, on Earth 51212. He often played card games with Xavier, and he once telepathically learned that Xavier had been cheating in the game. He confronted Xavier, who immediately discovered that Creed could read and even control others' minds. Xavier then mentally enslaved Creed and included him in his team, at least until the X-Men killed Xavier. After dying, a disembodied Xavier head tried to fix Creed, but he ended up making him more docile than ever. 28. Graydon Creed Sr. After an incursion between Earth 616 and Earth 1610 destroyed the multiverse, Dr. Doom used Beyonder's powers to recreate it as Battleworld. During this time, Earth 15730 was recreated in the Westchester domain, and the Shadow King realized that it was a fragile place. He was determined to ensure that the place was not destroyed, and then used Professor X's cloned body to take the form of Cassandra Nova. In this form, he became a politician and used a form of psychotherapy known as the Minefield to manipulate mutants. Sabertooth, or Graydon Creed Sr., was one of the many mutants in this reality who were forced to live in peace and harmony under Cassandra Nova's manipulation. 29. Cannibal Sabertooth. Cannibal Sabertooth was a variant from Earth 11080, where a plague had caused the entire population to turn into cannibals. Sabertooth got caught up in turf wars among the population as people formed tribes and fought with each other. 30. Sabertooth. First appearing in What the Comics in 1990, this variant of Sabertooth was an evildoer on Earth 9047, where he often clashed with Wolverine. In most of these fights, Wolverine emerged victorious, but the two of them finally died in 2063. Even in death, they continued to threaten each other from their tombs until 2099. Created by Shawley Fish and Rurik Tyler, this variant's history with Wolverine was an amusing spin on their age-old rivalry. 31. Noir Creed. Hailing from Earth 90214, this variant of Sabertooth appeared in Wolverine Noir comics and was an accomplished boxer. He owned the Victory Boxing Club in the southeast of Bowery and did not seem to have any powers. When Logan showed up at his boxing club, Creed asked him to get in the boxing ring and beat him until he fell unconscious. 32. Victor Creed, Earth 11131. Created by Kevin Marr and Coy Smith, Victor Creed from Earth 11131 lived in Killville, and he was one of the first villains to attack Misty Knight and Paladin upon their arrival. Victor later worked alongside the Assassin's Guild to kill MODOK, but the mindless ones showed up at the scene and tried to kill them all. Victor did survive their attack, but he was soon killed by MODOK, who sliced his body in two halves. 33. Victor Creed, Earth 13035. While Sabertooth had murdered Holly on Earth 616, his variant on Earth 13035 did not murder Holly in this universe. He had the same life story as Sabertooth in the mainstream universe, up until he met Holly, and he even married her in this reality. The two of them had a happy marriage and 2 children, and they stayed together until Holly died of old age. 34. Victor Creed, Earth 4011. The Earth 4011 variant of Sabertooth lived for about 2 centuries and really changed his ways towards the end. He turned into a Christian and lived as a missionary for the rest of his life. He even went as far as to plan his funeral, and he then arranged for his lawyer to share these details with Wolverine after his death. In this reality, he had an amicable death, and the Blob, Mystique, and Wildchild were a few mutants to show up at Sabertooth's funeral. He also left an envelope with a scent that helped Wolverine find the Howlett estate, the home where he was born. 35. Victor Creed, Earth 5631. Victor Creed's history on Earth 5631 is very similar to that of his mainstream counterpart, with a few differences here and there. On Halloween Eve, Victor once ran into Jack while dressed in a Wolverine costume and mistakenly took him for Wolverine's sidekick. He ended up cornering Jack until Wolverine came to his rescue and confronted Victor along with the rest of the Power Pack. The Power Pack team defeated Victor, and Wolverine later updated them about Sabertooth's history with him during the Weapon X program. 36. Victor Creed, Earth 9411. On Earth 9411, a variant of Sabertooth encouraged young mutants to destroy a few community buildings around Harlem to determine if they were good enough to join Magneto's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. However, Luke Cage soon showed up at the scene to confront Sabertooth and put an end to this activity. Created by Ferg Hanley and John Royal, this variant appeared in Rampage Comics in 2005. 37. Sawtooth, the Lord of the Wild. Sawtooth, also known as the Lord of the Wild, was created by Greg Park and briefly appeared in Extreme X-Men comics. He originated on Earth 20329 and was introduced as one of the most aggressive and savage gods. While Sawtooth had the same powers as Sabertooth in the mainstream universe, he also enjoyed the benefit of being immortal, among some additional powers as a god. 38. Victor Creed, Earth 1013. First appearing in X-Men Millennial Visions comics, Victor Creed from Earth 1013 joined Magneto's X-Men only to confront Fabian Cortez. He faced Fabian and his Genoshan mutates and attempted to reclaim Genosha to please Magneto. Marvelous verdict. To sum it up, it would be an understatement to say that Sabertooth has a widespread presence in the Marvel Universe. Besides the mainstream continuity, Sabertooth's variants are scattered across the multiverse, and we hope you enjoyed exploring them with us. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.